Right, good morning, and here is the first minute of the first day of the first hour, etc., of Affairs of the Heart. And who burst in the moment that we're ready to go on the air, but the star himself, Stuart Dolby, who got out of bed late this morning when I was here at 6 o'clock in the morning. Where was he? Not to be seen. Hey, Ollie.
I thought you told me my day was Wednesday, not Tuesday. What day is it today?
It is actually Tuesday, and we're all thrown because of the holiday. You can see behind me the first hour came from the Farmer's Bar and there was our regular break and egg. But now this really is the start of our new program, Affairs from the Heart. The idea is that it will be like an old program that many people remember, Pebble Mill at 1, where basically, because there was so much space in the atrium of BBC Birmingham with Edgbaston, that people just wandered in at will and just chatted. And that's what our idea is here, is once people get to know us, that they'll wander in. And the first wander in is Stuart Dolby. So I'll pull him around next to me in a moment, just very quickly to give you those people who are outside the area. And for that matter, a lot of people have no idea whatsoever of the history of this hotel. It is a very historic hotel. It's been a coaching inn since the early 1700s. But it was an inn well before that, because beneath these floorboards is a cellar in which the martyrs who were burned at the stake in the 1500s were marched out from the wine cellar into the square and burned no more than 20 or 30 feet from where we're sitting right at the moment. So it is a very historic hotel, and it is still going today, but is mostly known in the Americas for the heart of American democracy, because this is where Tom Paine espoused his rights of man, and that every man should determine his own destiny. And he particularly persuaded the then called colonists in the Americas, isn't even called America. According to Tom Bryson, it was Tom Paine that coined the phrase the United States. So this is where it all happened. And you can see the ancient fireplace behind me, the ancient beams. All of this is authentic. And this is where Tom Paine spread his word, and where the people, medieval people, made sure. And here's beautiful Sally, isn't it? Sally was here to greet me first thing this morning. She's a very hardworking lady. I just had a word with Cliff, her husband. I said, Cliff, pop in, not on your Nelly. He said, I'll send in Sally.
Now, you forgot to mention.
Well done, Sally. Yeah.
You forgot to mention this was a major gathering place.
Yeah, come around so people can hear you.
For the journalists.
Bring your chair around.
Who are waiting for the guilty persons over at the Crown Court. And it became...
Let people hear you. Right. Come on around.
I can't stay long, Keith.
Oh, this is you drop in whenever you can. Right. Everybody's welcome to drop in.
Yeah. No, the thing is that...
No, you've got to come around here. You've got to be seen. Right. I'll move the camera around to accommodate you. Right. Yeah. All right. Move over a bit further. No. There we go. Yeah, you're almost there. Look, there. This is how first-class television programs are made. And in fact, I'm delighted that this is happening the way it is, because this is exactly what it's all about. There's nothing formal about these couple of hours. All sorts of things will happen depending on. I mean, we've already had a number of people in the Farmer's Bar there who said, "Can we drop in and can we make our points?" And the answer is yes. Here you are. It's Lewis's own mouthpiece to the world. Right. Okay. Now tell us about the journalists across the road.
Well, this is the Crown Court, obviously, right? So all the press, all that, drunken swabs, as Lord Kitchener used to call them, would wait to actually get the verdicts. And by the time the verdict came across, they were absolutely too pissed to actually find out what the result was.
Right.
Anyway, I've got a nice little snippet for you this morning.
Good. Okay.
Up my own little patch, from a patch that one of the energy companies called Barr has been bailed out to the tune of, I think they said, £1.4 billion. Now, this is most interesting because I told you before about how oligopolistic cartels were formed because there was not proper regulation of the energy price. Back in the day, it was 6 companies, which was British Gas, English, or British if you like, EDF, French, and Power, German, E.ON, German, SSE, British, Scottish Power, Scottish. And they just set prices just as they see fit and gave themselves huge absolute salaries and terrific dividends to the shareholders. Later on, one of them drops off. One of them, SSE, was overtaken by OVO. Now, you have to remember, this is like the Premier League. There's now a top 5 and the best of the rest, if you see what I mean. And things like, well, the big 5 now are the big 6 minus SSE. That was overtaken by OVO, I think it was, yes. And now you've got sort of the second best of the rest, like Octopus, Ecocentricity, Good Energy, which are great green companies, and Bulb. And because of the spike in the usual story, all the ones who were back in the day that the energy price, when the energy cap was being set, the price was set by them, and it turned out that a lot of companies, once the gas price spiked, just couldn't make the deal, and they went bust. Like Bulb, what we're talking about now. So Bulb's been reinstated. So does this mean that we're again going back to a part of the cartel where this company is going to pay its directors fortunes and to give dividends to the shareholders at the cost of the consumer? So are we back where we were? All these people, and if people are talking about fuel poverty, well, there's no bloody fuel poverty amongst the directors, I can tell you that. Anyway, that's a nice little snippet. I was going to give it to you tomorrow, but I've got something even much better this morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now, just for those people who are new to Mirador, or certainly new to this program, because everybody's new to this program, Stuart is our energy correspondent, a former FT journalist, who has been heavily involved in renewable energy, was heavily involved in the oil business, and has got inside knowledge and perception that others don't have. He was telling us about price rises well before the mainstream media, and when they were saying tut, 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 Stuart was saying, I told you so. So watch out for his program, which is called Energy Matters, and which it goes out on a Wednesday. But of course, you can see it on social media whenever you want. So, do you wish to continue with energy, Mr.
Well, I don't seem to have any choice. People now, for example, the Lib Dems in Lewis have asked me if I would open a discussion about what they're meeting on fuel poverty and energy strategy. Energy security, and I said, yeah, okay, not paying any money, I suppose. No, of course not. When Lib Dems, what do you think? We haven't got any money. Anyway, and that was it. And also I've been asked by another group if they can have a sort of a strategic alliance with me, because they want to find out about the sustainable companies I write about in my own website, which is called Energy Matters. No, what's it called? Greenbarrel.com. What am I talking about? And so people keep saying to me, because I'm quite an old codger, when are you going to retire? And I said, well, I don't think I do retire. I mean, I've been scribbling all my life. Why would I want to stop now? And so I'm now sort of, my latest project really is Green Barrel, and I don't know whether I should just, being old, you need to tick two boxes. One is your health holding up, and the other one is you've got to be financially secure. And I do tick both boxes. So why don't I just go off with my wife and have a very nice time? And people keep saying to me, no, you're doing some very, very important work. I go, oh my bloody God. Do I really want to re-enter the rat race? Do I really? And I'm still sort of wrestling with that problem at the moment. Anyway, so I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
With a real blast, I tell you.
Now let's be very socially conscious, because you have been a bit poorly. Are you on the mend?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bad run for older people.
Yeah.
Indeed. I had a bit myself as well. I wish I could say, as I would have in the young days, that I drank myself away to it. But in fact, it took away my taste for booze, if anything, which is a very bad side effect of any sort of flu type thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, the fact is, after 2.25 years not getting COVID, I suddenly got it. And I got a bit suspicious. I thought, what the hell is this? And it was very much the same day that they announced the chromium, a new different chromium. What's it? And I thought, hello, there's some scheme going on here. And what I found is that the government has got this whole policy of pretending that COVID is over and done, right? And they've actually sort of brought in more symptoms, like extreme fatigue, guitar, this, that, and all the rest of it. And I think that probably COVID was being covered up by the colds and so forth and so on. And eventually, I discovered that the old COVID expired after 10 days. So the government is saying, look, COVID is not there anymore. We've cracked it. We've done it. But in fact, they haven't, have they? So another old Boris lie.
Yeah. You're waiting for him to enter into the House of Commons today, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. The fight about it is, you see,
like a bloody Roman patriot watching this
Boris, as you know, I am to know Boris. It's my misfortune, but never mind. Ukraine has seemed to have got him off the hook about Partygate, hasn't it? Because there he is. He's Winston Churchill again. Like Winston Churchill was this great hero, you see. I think he's more like Randolph Churchill, minus the syphilis, but never mind. But then you see the thing is that
modern science, my dear chap.
We've got to think that Keir Starmer might have had a charisma bypass, but he is a very, very good advocate, and he's on this case, a matter of the law. He probably could, take Boris to the cleaners. So I'm waiting with quite interest,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no question that there are a number of things for us to watch. But just before you go, what's your view on this latest push by the Russians into the Lugansk area, Donbass area of Ukraine?
Well, that area is full of Russians anyway. It's been more or less annexed by Russia before. And clearly, Putin is having a lot of bother with his war, because they've had to pull out of the western towns, which are really the main ones, the key ones, because he's overdone it. Apparently, all the Russian troops are kids. They don't know what they're doing. Their communications are wrong. Everything's wrong. And that the British, particularly, but also all the other NATO countries, are now really getting fed up, and they're supplying all the weaponry and all the rest of it. And look at the fantastic response to the migrants. Apart from Priti Patel, of course. We don't talk about, there was a wonderful thing on Facebook, on my Facebook yesterday. It said, wonder why the Priti Patel family came over to England when the distance between Uganda to Rwanda was much shorter. I thought that was wonderful.
Perhaps the airline industry had something to say about that. Stuart, you're looking at a watch. Good to see you. You will be in tomorrow morning. You're going to come and co-host, are you not, apart from doing energy matters?
Yeah.
It's your usual morning for us.
Who's going to do it?
Now, don't take that away. That's my crib sheet for the hotel.
All right. That must be around.
Come and sit down here, my dear. The people are beginning to trickle in now. This is what it's all about. If you want to trickle, come down to the come down to the White Hart, and it's all very basic this morning. But as we go along now, and we find out what we need and what we can do and what we can't do, because Cliff has been very good. Cliff Aries, the owner. He came in this morning and showed me where he wanted us to broadcast from, and I'm happy to say we're able to show this very fine example of a 17th century coaching in. And there are some people who have become aware while we've been planning and plotting things this morning. And let me say that this will be, although there'll be some people like Stuart who are part of our team, the other is that we go from a position of ignorance, and there are people that will come in and sit down and we haven't a clue who they are or what they want to say. And as long as they actually don't libel anybody, we're happy enough to be for them. I'm going to bring a lady around in a moment, and she can tell us who she is and what she's about and what's on her mind. So in the meantime, why don't we just have a little look at what's going to happen later this year and the sort of thing that we will be looking for. But we are looking for you. Do come and join us at the White Hart Hotel. We don't expect a great rush of people, but we are able to say that this is day one. This is hour one of day one. And we look forward to having you with us whenever you feel like it, and whoever you are, and whatever you do. And we will be bringing in people from all parts of the earth, the wonders of modern technology. But for the moment, we have a lady, and while she settles in, take a look at this. So that's what it's all about. Coming a bit closer to me, my dear, if you don't mind. Yeah, that's right. We need to get you on camera. Then, of course, is its Jubilee year, and perhaps nothing is short of controversy this year in the United Kingdom. And because we reflect much of the country, I say to you that this morning's newspapers are that the Queen is going to ask Harry and Meghan to share the royal balcony when she appears for her Jubilee. Now, I can tell you for a fact that that's going to shake up some people. Well, you want to bet that we get complaints and so on. But what do you think? I mean, let us know. You don't have to let us know now because we don't have a phone-in element at the moment, but we'll get that. But if you're shopping this morning, you're coming in and you want to express an opinion, drop in, come on in, because then we can absolutely make sure that your opinion gets out to the people that matter. Because Stuart Dolby and I sit here and we pontificate and we give you our opinions, and we are so convinced that we're right that it's nobody else's opinion. Now, we have a lady who likes to come into the Farmer's Bar at the White Hart Hotel, which is where we're located and where we're actually broadcasting from. Say hello through the window if you want when you go by. And she has often just made little comments on the side about the present situation in Ukraine, but also about things in general. So she's here for a few minutes this morning to share her thoughts with us. And first of all, Tell us who you are, my dear.
I am Elena Gibbs. Elena Gibbs. I live in the seafood. I am British whole my life. I simply believe. I live in a spy. I think because I'm from Moscow. From Russia. I believe spy for us. What I say, I working from 10 years old. I've been in such situations from 10 years old, and I support homeless refugees. I support what our tax money, what usually in charity shops say. I pay too much for Britain. I pay too much for my country. I want simply being friend with England. What I only want, I want to be our family being friend. What I want to say via in your program today. You have a lovely program. What I hope everybody watch. It's very interesting.
Well, I would actually reflect what you have to say because I spent, strangely enough, I spent some time in the Donbass area, Lugansk, where the Russian invasion is starting today. But also I've spent a lot of time in Moscow. And it was upsetting me a wee bit that what I did was I sent a note when hostilities opened up. And I said, this is dreadful that our two countries seem to be heading loggerheads. And I hope, my dear friends, that you're okay. I did not get one reply. And it was obvious that the internet had been monitored and shut down. So whereas I would, I literally do mean hundreds, and I would have all sorts of people corresponding with me on all sorts of things, not a single subtlety. Then on Friday, a breakthrough. I popped up suddenly in my emails. I'm not going to mention her full name, but is Yulia, who was, I actually trained her as a journalist in Moscow, and she's a lovely lady, and she's gone on to great success, and is now a very good journalist, and up popped a message from her. Keith, thank you for your good wishes. We hope that you have a nice Easter in the United Kingdom, and that I, like you, hope for peace. So everybody wants a cessation of hostilities, except the boss, except for Mr. Putin, who seems determined to keep on killing people.
Yeah, you know, sir, what I want to say, Mr. Putin to involve this, because really, I think from Russia expect everybody money. Russia not have money. I left Moscow 30 years ago. Is Moscow been beautiful country? Everybody want business, tourist people, lovely. Now, of course, such situations how poor Russian people live. Like I say for you before, I still have a place in Moscow. I left for homeless because Lena support homeless refugees. Yeah.
Are you saying that there was a number of homeless in Moscow when you left?
I poor person confusion little bit. I don't think so much homeless a long time ago. I not very good remember because I confusion person. I simply say how I talk my homeless person. She said awful situations how I live now. 30 years ago much better. Everybody want doing business with Russia. Everybody lovely. Yeah. Mean Lena she want simply only being friend. Yelena Bagin, please, we've been friend. We poor British English family. Yeah. Is difficult situations now in Russia.
Well, let's just probe your mind back 30 years. He's the man across the table from you. He's about 85 years old. So
lovely.
60 years is nothing to him.
I see.
But what are your memories? Because strangely enough, the first time I went to Moscow would be 1975. And 1975 is about 30, 40 years ago. So I remember a little bit of it. What do you remember?
I not remember much. I simply remember we have.
Stuart, good to see you. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, bye. Simply what I remember before Moscow is been beautiful city. Everybody doing business, everybody tourist people. Like I been with my husband in the business. I say again, I work. I like working from 10 years old. I'm from sad family. My family, you don't want me. Exactly, I Polian family, you don't want me. I simply say I help for my husband. It's lovely country, been it's beautiful. I hope Russian people are again happy, again have money, businesses, everything, lovely life, improve life like in England, perhaps. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I must say that in 1975, life was pretty tough in Moscow. I mean, everybody
I'm
was
sorry,
clothed and
I
fed, but
confusion. Yeah, I don't remember very good
no,
because I poor person of confusion.
yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, it appeared to me to be, and then of course we went to Glasnost, when in fact the shops were empty.
Yeah.
But then it has slowly built an economy back to where life is rather good in Moscow at the moment.
Yeah. Everybody, I think, have job. I say for you again, everybody have job. Live, I think, reasonable, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
And do you stay in touch with people in Moscow, or do you not know anybody?
I'm sorry. I poor confusion person. I can't speak Russian. I can't speak Russian so much. A long time in Britain, long time in the British. Exactly what I say. Russia really nothing to do with us, with me, with Lena. Because I British all my life, my language English. I say again, I still have place in Moscow. I lost contact. Everybody. And I said, my family, you don't want me. I grown up by myself from 10 years old, try being independent when I child, because
Yes.
it's my family. I not my family only English. What my only family?
Yes, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, like all of us, you have a little bit of your heart to your homeland where you were born. You're hoping for peace.
I won't be in peace. I like being peace with Russia. Yeah. I like being peace with Moscow.
Right.
Russia.
Now, if I may say so, you've still got quite a fierce accent. Does that stay with you from your childhood?
I say again, accent forever, like Scottish accent. We in Britain, British accent, Scottish accent. Where I live in the seafood, is so many people with Scottish accent. Yeah, I think accent forever these days. Yeah, because exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, you live in Seaford.
Yeah.
But you are a fairly well-known figure around Lewis, because I've seen you half a dozen times or so.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place here. We love so much Lewis. We love this area. And again, I'm moving for seafood. From Buckinghamshire. I'm moving. Seafood, because doctor tell me for me I need live in the sea. I need being close with family. I say again, my family English. Our family not too far from seafood. With Lena died in the seafood. I died in the seafood. I love so much British. I say again, I British. Really Russia nothing to do with us. Please, we've been friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice of you to offer to come on, and because I know that from when we were testing out things last week, you were very interested. You and your husband, is it?
Yeah. My husband English. Yeah, we love your program. We watch your program. It's a very nice, interesting program. I hope many people enjoy this program. It's absolutely lovely. Yeah, you lovely gentleman. You're doing a very good job, I think.
Well, that's very kind of you. But there are a lot of people who actually see me as a loudmouth, and so they should. Because one of the things that really upsets me is there are lots of people who will go and play bridge or do knitting or whatever, and busy criticizing everybody, and then you never hear a peep out of them. I, on the other hand, don't play bridge. I don't do knitting, and you hear from me all the time. And some people say, what was it? One lady that I met here in the very early days he's a loudmouth. And by golly, I am, and I'm proud of it. And I think we should have more. So if you're a loudmouth, or if you're a soft mouth, or if you're any sort of mouth at all, and you want to drop by the White Hart Hotel, right in the centre of Lewes, any morning from now on in the week, from 9:30 till 11:30, you can pop into the bar and you can have your say. And we're not stopping anybody from having a drink either.
Yeah, it's absolutely lovely place. You're doing very good job. Thank you very much.
Okay, good to see you, and I hope you have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Bye.
When I possible see this again, your program?
Oh, it comes on immediately after we've ended at 11:30. It will be on Facebook and YouTube and our own website. Yeah, it'll be all over the place.
Yeah, because my girls like see me.
Yeah, no, it's on forever.
Oh, I see. I mean, we later possible see this program.
Yeah, yes. It's. I mean, you just. When I see you next, I'll give you. But basically, if you find Mirador Television Lewes on Facebook, and then this morning's program you'll see. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Nice to see you.
You lovely child.
Bye.
Yeah, lovely. I hope you're a friend. Yeah, I hope you're a friend. If you're a friend, maybe you famous. If you're a friend, you might be famous.
Well, there we go, and that's what it's all about, and it's good to. So we've had two guests in the first half hour. Shall I catch up with the news, or is that not what we should do in this hour? Who knows? The fact of the matter is that one or two controversial things. Oh, I've got the hiccups. Quite often I have the hiccups. There's a family out there reading what's on the White Hart wall. Many people, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, and including Lewes, don't know a great deal about the White Hart Hotel. It's been owned by the Aries family since 1987, I think it is. And those of you who, once again, for controversial stuff, let's see. I just can't see when Cliff actually took over. But anyway, I think it was in the 1980s. But it is a 17th century hotel, and it's a famous coaching inn, and was the centre where Tom Paine developed his famous rights of man theories, and those theories said that the divine right of kings was all wrong. The king and the league should not have a huge power, and that the man generally should be involved in government. Well, in those days, there was no House of Commons. Who named it the House of Commons? Tom Paine. In those days, there was no United States of America. Who named it the United States of America? Tom Paine. And who did the kicking when the colonists thought perhaps we won't get naughty, we won't fight London? It was Tom Paine. So he was some pup, and he was in this community for about 7 or 8 years, as a customs and excise man. And he played bowls. We've got a famous bowling green here, which is the former tilting ground for the castle. The castle having been built about, there was a castle at the time of the invasion of 1066, the conquest, but it was wood. And the Normans built rock castles, stone castles, brick castles. And ours has stood the test of time, and it's still here. Not in its entirety, but still a pretty fair chunk of its frame. And it really does stand as a symbol of what's happened in Lewes, where the spirit of rebellion bubbles all the time. And it's something going on somewhere where somebody is taking a different viewpoint to that taken by either the rest of the country or the government or whatever. So do actually pop in and let us hear your ideas of what the world should be about, what it is about, and what you think should happen and what is happening. We'd love to see you, and it is an opportunity. We don't expect a great flood of people until you get used to the fact that we are here, and we are here, and it's in the we're now in the we're not even into the second hour. We start at 9:30 in the morning. We do actually broadcast our break and egg from here, which is a bit of a news review and a look at where the day is carrying us through. But generally speaking, it is not the outwardly friendly program that this is. And here we are in the bar. You can come and sit with us. You come and chat to us. You can give us your viewpoints. Come and tell us what's happening in your charity, if you like. Come and tell us what's happening in the events in the town, because we're only too happy to let you on each morning and to make your mark. The thing is, too many people who run charities and so on are just so laid back. They think if they pick up the phone, that's enough. But charities and organizations, non-profit organizations, are like anything else. We like to see the enthusiasm that is generated by the people that are busy running them. And so if it's not too much difficulty to get up off your butt and come down and have a chat, it's much better than just sending out a press release and saying this is going to happen. Impresses far more. Now, a lady just walked by and took a look in, so I rather imagine that people are aware that we're rabbiting on in here. And let me give you an update of the time, except that the time has disappeared off the screen for a moment, but I'm sure that we can get it back. And and if you don't know the time, what is it they say? You don't know what time of day it is anymore, and it's 10:20. It is 10:20, and I hope that. Let's see. I suppose, really, to me, the main story of the morning that would affect us here in Lewis or give some rise or debate or concern is that according to the Daily Express, and the Express is very close to government, is that the Queen is saying, let me have Prince Harry and let me have Meghan on the balcony when I celebrate, I think it's in June, my golden jubilee. Is it golden or silver? No, it's golden, isn't it? And she has made an express wish that they should be there. In fact, it's more than an express wish. It's her party, and she can do what the hell she likes. And she's going to in this particular issue, even though there are lots of people, one way or another, who would disagree that she should do. Harry and Meghan is starting to become front page news again, as if they've been very far out. But most of it has been Hollywood stuff, strange stuff. Righto, I'm going to have just a little sip. I think it's he drank all his coffee. What a naughty boy. He didn't leave me anything. As we find out how to get organized, so I think you'll find a difference as the days go by. I'm going to adjust the microphone just a little bit, the camera, it's not so that you don't lose this gorgeous bar, 17th century bar from behind me, and also that you don't miss me. But I'm not the main topic of conversation here. It will be Boris is going to make a statement about his lockdown in the House of Commons. So that's something that if you are anxious about finding out what Boris is going to say or how he's going to handle things, there will be a statement shortly, and we'll try and keep an eye on that. Let's just take a nice break, As I said, there's one place that is very, very nice here, and that is the Grange Gardens. And we often on our programs take a pop down when we've been talking for a long time. And we have been talking now, believe it or not, for an hour. Gosh, the first hour of our program has almost gone. And it seems as if we've done nothing yet. Well, we haven't done anything yet. And we will be jamming this hour full of stuff that is from you. So get with it. Let us know. Come down. If you're passing, wave your hand. If you don't want to speak in front of the microphone or in front of the cameras, it's okay. Nobody is going to force you to. But this is a prime opportunity for people to have their say. And we would be delighted to see them. Right you are. Let's go down to Grange Park, shall we? Now let me sort of run through some of the things that you can expect if you do pop your nose in. First of all, we have some faithful reporters who have been with us for quite a long time. They will be actually appearing one each morning. This morning it would have been, except that it was the first day, Fergus Wood. Fergus is a wine expert. He has been appearing on screen for quite some time. And hopefully, as of next week, he will be along with some samples of his wine. He'll talk about them and he'll have them here. We might even do a little wine tasting. If you dropped in at the right time, you might even get a little taste of wine. And if perchance you want to order some of his wines, which are pretty nice wines and not out of the ballpark, reasonably inexpensive, you can bring your order form along or come in and fill an order form and you can get them from here. So that's Fergus Wood. Now, secondly, and he gets so busy that I don't know whether he'll have time to come along this morning to the studio, to the hotel. But here's Andrew Sloan of Grizzlies Barbershop. Now, Andrew is well aware that barbers should be proactive as well as reactive. You go in with some long hair and you want it cut, he cuts it. But also, he thinks that hair care starts at home. And so he will be here once a week and demonstrating how to look after your hair. And if you want to come in and talk to him, and perhaps, who knows, if your hair is long enough, he may grab you and sit you in a seat and remodel you while you're on the air. Hopefully we're getting all sorts of pop-ups on my phone to say that one way or another people are tapping in and seeing what we got to say. I guess that they're not sticking around for too long, and I don't blame them. But bit by bit, this will become a much livelier place in the morning. And you can drop in. But Andrew Sloan will be here on a weekly basis. Then there is Stuart Dolby, whom you've just seen. Stuart really is an expert on energy. And can't we really be more grateful than have an expert on energy right now? And he has been calling the shots way ahead of the field. So if you want to know what the next move in the energy field is, tune in to Stuart. I mean, at least once a week, but also Stuart will do other programs, and he is a firm favourite with those people on our screens. Then we have Sarah Fitzhayes, and we have got to get Sarah going again. She's a wonderful artist, a terrific artist. She's a very bubbly personality. So we have had some difficulty getting hold of Sarah, but we will now invite her back. So one day next week, she'll be here. And all these people are perfectly happy for you to wander in and take a look at what they're doing on telly. We have got to get our more cameras going. We're doing just a single camera this morning. This was the first day. We didn't know where we were. We didn't want to be lugging great stuff around. We've got two delightful students. One is called Frey, and the other is called Max. And they work very hard to get things going. And they do a nice job. So they will be appearing from time to time. And I know that they're busy making a little program. I'm hoping that somebody is popping in. Is anybody popping in? Well, who knows? The point is that it's open plan in New March if you wish. If you don't want to go through the hotel, there is a room into the back of the bar where we're broadcasting from. And if you do wish to go into the hotel, you can come in through the bar door. So I'm happy to say that we are reasonably well set up. Cliff Aries, the owner, has worked hand in glove with us, and people are sort of beginning to gaze into the window. Is that where it's all happening? So I guess the word is beginning to spread, and we're very happy that it is. What did I start to talk about? I was talking about something that's very, very important. I know. But that's the sort of program it is as well. And we don't mind breaking off and talking about something totally different. It's up to you. We also will have, I was telling you what we've got going. So those are the four programs. And Jane Watkins will be joining us from time to time from Hastings. Jane is one of our regular reporters. She does a very nice job. She did some good stuff around Lewis just before Christmas. And now that we're going again, Jane will become a regular. And she is both amusing and talented at the same time. So watch out for Jane. We're going to America too, because we have 3 or 4 people in our American bureau. Melissa Conti, who is the head of the bureau, and she will actually be in Lewis in May. She's coming over to take a look at who we are, where we are, and what we are. Not who we are, she knows very well who we are, but to join us in our broadcasts here, which do go live to the United States. What else is going on that is of interest to you? We'll be covering all sorts of events. We take the view that we are very small. If you've got an event out there, whether it's the food bank, whether it's the raft race or whatever, and you want us to publicize it and you want to talk about it on air, by all means do. Cost you nothing, except a little bit of effort. The aftermath of a little bit of a cold. I'm on the mend now. But come and talk about it, because we can't chase everybody. But we're very happy to make sure that you get the exposure you deserve. We figure that all in all, we've got about 3,000 people who tune in, probably more than that, and it's growing. So if you want us to give you a boost up the ladder, we don't mind. Just drop in and tell us, hey, I got something to talk about. Something I want you to publicize. If you want to bring it in and say, hey, we've got something for you to eat and drink, Keith, and so much the better. No, you don't have to worry. But generally speaking, it's a potpourri of all sorts of events and people and laughter. And people particularly, because Lewis is full of characters, full of talent. And we need to showcase that talent, whether it's musical talent, art talent, or whether it's a talent of making puzzles. It doesn't really matter. We're very happy to see you. The time to drop in is between 10:30 and 11:30, 9:30 and 11:30. I can never remember these things. I am Jack the Manio personified. Right, you are. Let's see if perhaps we didn't have time to load some of the programs things this morning because one of the things about this sort of mobile stuff is, are you going to get a signal? And for a long time we couldn't figure out what was wrong with the camera, and we only figured that out with 10 or 15 minutes ago. Here are people coming in to take a look at the White Hart, and I hope that they'll look in. No, he didn't look in, and we would hope that you will be the next one to look in, that you will stick your nose through the door. Now, today, first day, I doubt if we're going to see many of you, but once you start to watch, once you start to hear what it's all about, once you start to see some of these programs pass on, then we're okay. We'll see a reflection of what goes on in the community. In the meantime, as being the blowhard, the big mouth, I have to keep going. So good waffle stuff. There are some nice things in Lewis, and I noticed one here. Although it says happy New Year, and why not? Apparently, protocol is that you can actually say Happy New Year, but there are some nice shots of it, and we will be having from time to time stuff from local photographer Susan Harris to show her talents, and talents they are as well. Anyway, let's take a look at this one for a moment. We're taking a break. Not a long break, but we're going to new places, getting new experiences, doing new things, getting ourselves refreshed, ready for the fray for the next 11 months of 2022. We'll be back well refreshed with a brand new persona, a brand new look. So we're only on holiday for a week, and then we'll be on top of the world. So join us in a week's time. Mirador Television. Watch us in February. Toodle pip. Now, that was an old promotion that we had from that time that we took a break at Christmas. It sounds as if we take lots of breaks. We don't. We go 5 days a week and we keep going. And because of social media, you can tap into us at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you'll generally find something new or interesting. And that's what this program is all about. This is what Mirador Television is all about. It's trying to encourage you to spread the word about our community. And we are an interesting community. Our viewership in the United States, probably because of the stuff that we do about Tom Paine, is widespread, particularly on the East Coast, but it's getting to the West Coast as well. And we'll have plenty of people, plenty of things, interviews as our reporters get going and we get used to our new broadcast home. Yeah, I thought that we might just take one other little snippet out of the White Hart Hotel. And we're grateful to Sally and Cliff Ayres for joining in almost a joint venture, because, as Cliff said, not enough is known about Lewis, so this is an opportunity. And he wanted to get involved in the community and make sure that we got a place that we could be heard and be seen. And the fact of the matter is that until you actually get some sort of group together or people together who are letting us know what happens, is that a town can become moribund. Everybody knows about fireworks in Lewis, they say. Well, you do if you live in Lewis. But there are a lot of people that vaguely have heard, yes, there's a big fireworks celebration down in Lewis, and that's about it. What the details are, you can find out here as you tag along with us. And a lot of people in town don't. But anyway, I digress again. Here is another note in the history books of this place, because in the 1st of October, 1921, and this is a very interesting point with what's going on in the rest of the world, is a meeting took place in the sheriff's room here, which is the key room where Tom Paine espoused his rights of man. So in the sheriff's room, the meeting took place between the Foreign Secretary of the UK and the Soviet ambassador to Paris. Members of the press were rigorously excluded from the hotel until the late afternoon, when a statement was handed out by the Foreign Secretary. There's agreement to be reached on the resumption of full diplomatic relations between the Soviet Union and Great Britain. Even back there, we're talking about 1929, things had been a bit stretched. And it's right here under this roof that it was sorted out. It is also said, and Cliff says, yes, it's true, although the documentation has either gone missing or never really existed, that foreign secretary and that Russian ambassador, or Russian foreign secretary, sorry, that he was mad keen on cricket, and that in the halls of this hotel, the two of them got bat and ball and started to play a gentlemanly game of cricket. And they didn't break too many windows, and they didn't break too much cutlery, and so they were able to carry on. So that was another slice of history that took place here. One of the stories I like, which actually is on this crib sheet that's been given to me, is that Mick Jagger, the well-known rock and roll musician, the bad boy, was held in a Russian prison, in Lewis prison, overnight on one occasion. And he was brought in late, and he was hungry. So he said to the warder, "How do I get something to eat?" And the warder said, "Kitchen's closed, go. You want to phone for something, you can." So he asked the warder for some recommendation as to where on his night that he might get after hours, get some decent food. And the warder said, "Well, tongue in cheek, you can try the White Hart." So he picked up the phone and he phoned the White Hart, and he said, "I could do with a full meal, thank you." And they said, "Yes, coming right up, sir. Where are you?" Took the name and address without batting an eye. Delivered Mick Jagger's dinner to him. I like these little snippets. They give some idea of what we're like as a town, and it's not a bad thing to find out. Let's see what this one's got. We're back. It stopped. I was busy checking on things, got caught. And this will happen from time to time, and we don't mind. This is what people do. Bits and pieces are flashing up on the screen. This is what's happening. Some of them are social. "Hey, Keith, what are you doing? Keep doing what you're doing." "Yeah, yap, 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 yap." But I was really actually going to do that one, and I did, and it didn't impress me, so I'm sure it's not going to impress you. Other things that are happening on Mirador. One of the things that we have a lovely lady called Rosie Hayes, no relationship whatsoever. Rosie is a legend in her own time in terms of being a reporter. She was in Cuba long before the Western press got there, and she did many good reports. She now owns something called YNUK, Your News UK. From time to time, she sends us little snippets. One that she sent us some time ago, and I'd like to remind people about what has happened, is about military wives. And there was a review of the movie, but we all, I think, probably remember Military Wives when the ladies of the I think a camp in Aldershot prepared themselves to sing in front of the Queen at the remembrance service of the Albert Hall, Royal Albert Hall. Here's the preview Rosie did about the show. It might be worthwhile another little look. Oops, there we go.
I'm Kate Barclay, Colonel Barclay's wife. We need to come up with some exciting activities while our service people are away.
What about singing?
I really enjoyed it. I liked the story, and I related to lots of it, having been an army wife myself. I've never been in a choir and I can't sing. It's a little bit light-hearted in parts, I thought, too light. My own experience of the army was it was far more rigid than they showed. Although I was impressed by the colonel's wife, I was married to a colonel, lieutenant colonel in the Gurkhas. There are set rules, and she had the problem that I had. The others are called other ranks. There's a hierarchy in the army, and I thought they addressed it quite well, actually. There is a difficulty there.
It's nice to see a film where it's not only the central characters are women, but nearly all the characters are women. The men hardly get a look in. We know that the director, Peter Castaneo, directed The Full Monty. It is treated very much, I think, as ultimately a feel-good film with serious bits, like the Colonel's lady is grieving the loss of her son. This is about the women waiting for their men in the Afghan war. So it was given perhaps quite a light touch a lot of the time.
I got a little bit tearful about them because I know the hardship that's suffered by everybody when your men go away. I was lucky my husband didn't actually go to war, but I know what it's like being on your own and being a single mother. I think they could have gone a bit deeper with that.
There's a certain artificiality about the way that it is structured and told, but I think quite a lot of people will enjoy it. Particularly, it's nice to have a tribute to the military wives, the real military wives, who spend so much time on their own, worrying about their husbands, and some of them, of course, they lose their husbands.
This was a feel-good film. This is about people who found something meaningful to do through an upsetting, difficult time. So it was a small conceit, but I think it was worthy.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you.
So you'll remember that, many of you, and it's probably appropriate that we dug that one out on the basis that who knows whether, in fact, our military are going to have to go to war in the not too distant future. I hope not. But certainly the scene in Lugansk in Ukraine is looking pretty damn serious. And now that more and more world leaders are coming out to denounce Russia for genocide, I would imagine that there are more and more going to jump on the bandwagon. Generally speaking, those are the sort of little snippets which we will come up with on this program. And they can be snippets from you. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're doing. And I was actually looking for the time, and I've let it slip again. It's won't always be this way, but this is what's known as self-op to get us going this morning. And I'm just to keep the time on tap is not easy. I think it's about it's about 10:50 or so. So forgive me for not being quite precise. Be a bit more precise as we go along. Let me now talk to you, I think, because I am known as the mouth that roars. I get carried away, and I do rant and rave, and I shall continue to rant and rave. And one of the things that I've been ranting and raving about is the use of computers, or in my view, the abuse of computers. We all say, oh my goodness me, the fabric of our community is falling to pieces. But the abuse of computers is one of the major contributing factors, in my view. If you go to the bank, do you talk to a bank manager anymore? No. Well, the girls are very, very pleasant. They'll help you change a pound note. But if you really want to talk about anything serious, you don't talk to a bank manager anymore. You talk to a senior lady who then taps the thing into a computer, and the computer decides whether you can borrow or lend or beg or steal or whatever. And if you're late in your payments, you don't go and just have a nice chat to a friendly bank manager. Not all of them were friendly, but most of them were pretty good and helped you through a bad period. Is what you do is you get an email, and if you don't respond in time, then they ding you and they don't pay for you, which to me is absolutely outrageous. But the same thing happened with the NHS. I mean, doctors' surgeries at one time were a place where people did meet. They did chat. And doctors were people who knew you, not just a number. That's all gone. And it's all through the use of computers. We can keep on about the use of computers. Credit cards. Excuse me, sir. You seem to have overlooked a payment. Bing, you're being charged 12 quid. Well, that is all too much for a civilized society to bear. And nobody dare say anything to the retail bankers. Nobody dare. The government is terrified of them. The suppliers are. They can do what they want. And quite often they get themselves into a muck and go bust. And whereas if you and I did that, then the weight of the law would fall upon us, not on the banks. What they do is they go to the government and say, lend us a few bob, will you? And the government says, oh, yes, sir, yes. Can't wait. Are you sure you're not going to lose this? No, of course not. Oh, but you did. So the use of computers as such. But where it is really vicious is that it has even those things that were computerized that replace bankers and places of social communion in small villages have gone. And we even, I see on the weekend, talking about cutting another few thousand buses in rural East Sussex. And that's a general theme right across the country. Cut buses, cut bus services. Not only are these a lifeline to a lot of people who live in the villages and the towns where they haven't a car and where it's difficult to get in and out. But those buses are key to making sure that they don't go doolally. They don't go mad from their own company. On the one hand, daily our news pages are full of experts warning that we're on the verge of a huge increase in nervous breakdowns and mental stress and so on. Well, I'm not a bit bloody surprised, because half the policies that are followed by some of the big organizations, including the government, nobody talks to them anymore. And frankly, to be quite honest with you, is in the main, if you talk to a civil servant now, I prefer not to. They still think like civil servants. If they got a form for it, they'll fill it in. Well, some people need a certain amount of sympathy and understanding, right? Just because I'm an ordinary old bugger and I upset everybody, it doesn't mean to say that they can take all their clients or all the people that come to talk to them. They're going to be like me. On the contrary, a lot of people need help. And as for our mental health situation, the looking after it, that's abysmal as well. People are nicked by the police because they're causing trouble. They're thrown into a detention for a while. They're fed a few pills, and then out they go again into the same environment. Nobody to look after them. Nobody. Oh yeah, the scheme says, if you looked at these schemes, they don't actually fulfill what they're supposed to. Sometimes because they don't have enough people, sometimes not enough money, but mostly because of bad organization. So computers are at the root of a lot of evils. And now we're beginning to see where airlines are delayed by 24 hours. 24 hours! Because the computer gets the ticketing worked up. 24 hours and more, and particularly in busy periods. And who do you complain to? The computer doesn't care. There is an old Chinese adage that says, "Do not pick the flowers," says the sign, "but the wind cannot read." Do not make this mistake, says the computer. But the computer can't read either. All it does is it's a mouthpiece for what was fed into it. And if, in fact, you would argue, well, it should have people changing things every day, the computer people say, we actually purchase computers to save time and money, not to spend it. And it's about time that somebody somewhere started to look at what's happening, and the social fabric is being ripped apart by those people in our society who have got such a belief in computers. What really amuses me is that everybody is apologizing at the moment because there is nothing on the shelves. The big great breakthrough was it was never going to happen again because the supermarkets had got something called JIT, just in time. In other words, the computer would suss out what had gone off the shelves, what it needed, where it was coming from, how it would get there, and what time it would get there. And they calculated that they were just goods would get there to fill the shelves just as the last package had left just moments before. Well, that's gone all the way of all things. Why is it that we laud so many things that don't work? Why is it that we say we should do more of this? Why is it why government spends vast amounts of money? I mean, one of the things that has never, ever sat right with me, and I never understood it, is escalators in big department stores, on the underground, on public transport, you name it, is there is always a few that are clogged, that aren't working. And yet what do? We buy more of them. God, I wish I was a salesman for the moving escalator companies. People buy them. It doesn't matter what their reputation or how badly the thing is broken down. That's the sort of Shangri-La that I would very much like. Normally at this time, we would have another studio guest and we would have a chat to people overseas or in other parts of the country. We either have the facility to take them in this morning or for us to go out to them, only because we wanted to know where we would be broadcasting from and what we can have. We need more cameras, obviously. We've got the cameras. Now we have got a few experts who will look at it and start to set things up so that we look much more professional. We behave in a much more professional way. No, we won't, because we don't intend to behave in a professional way this morning on this program. What we need to do is to be laid back and to encourage people to talk the way that they would at home, the way that they would at the bridge party, the way that they would wherever they want to be. And it is nice to hear people clattering into the front bar at the Hart Hotel here, where quite a lot of people gather each day to have a chat. That's what social coordination should be. That's what people should really do. They should really be encouraging us to talk to one another, to get together. And do they? No, they do not. Tut, 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 tut. Okay. It looks as if I'm struggling. I'm not struggling. I'm just trying to think of. I just don't want to actually. I don't want to discourage people from going away. I'm ready to bring in our long list of experts and characters and personalities. It is who can appear and chat to us and fill our morning. Once again, Mirador Television, there are ad hoc programs all around. But starting today, we started with 8:30 with our news review. I call Break an Egg. And I wonder if, in fact, what we've got is a guest here. And it would be nice. No, I know. People aren't aware of us yet, but they will be. And we are very high profile now. We're right in the middle of the town at the Hart Hotel. That's the trouble with leaning over to see what's going on, is you forget what the hell you're talking about. So if I leave you in mid-sentence for a couple of mornings, please forgive me. But no, here we are. I'm delighted to say, come and sit here, Janet. We are still limited on our cameras, will be, but we've got Councillor Janet Barr, who has joined us, and we'll adjust the thing a little bit so we get, there we go, Beauty and the Beast on this morning. And for those of you who do not know Janet, she is one of the better activists, if you like, amongst the councillors here.
Thank you.
Particularly in education. But strangely enough, I got a gold medal the other day. Somebody who's taken up the invitation and is coming in.
Hiya. You're not open in there at all.
Sorry?
Is the bar open?
You have to go and ask at the front desk. We're not the barman yet.
Okay.
That's good. Everybody's dropping by to do ordinary things. But I was at Cambridge giving a lecture, and I was lecturing to a group of Ghanaians who are likely to be their next generation of civil servants. And I was able to proudly say, I have, as a friend in my hometown, a huge success story who is a Ghanaian who came here when she was 11.
No, I've lived here for 21 years. No, I was, married with 3 children. I don't, I look.
But you're not more than 21 or 22.
Thank you. Thanks, Keith. You've made my day.
Yeah, but you came from Ghana.
Ghana.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about the story, because I love success stories, and I think yours is a huge one.
Well, I lived and was born and raised in Ghana, and then, educated there. Good that you asking me this. My forefathers had land, and then we had so many workers working on the land. And so I used to their children didn't go to school at all. So I used to have numeracy and literacy classes for them. Now, what I'm heading towards is to just that particular land that this Short family worked on. I'm setting up a foundation to build a school so that these can go for free. Because as it is, when I was going to school in Ghana, tuition was free. Yet these poor families didn't have money to buy all the other necessities. I mean, you talk about school. Tuition fee is just, a tiny bit of the cost associated with schooling. So yes, that's what I want to do. Now, education is free, but they are still struggling. Fast forward, so we moved down here 21 years ago. My husband was studying and teaching at Sussex University, and we came and lived in beautiful Lewis.
Right now, as you know, people like Janet are restless. They never sit still, because not only is she doing this for her home country of Ghana, but she does a similar sort of exercise here to try to help young children who need to be given an education or have lost the desire. So you better tell us about that.
Well, yes. One classical project is what I did with one of these schools. I'm not going to mention the name of the school based on confidentiality. I was trying to build a story of opportunity for everyone, where we have schools for every child here. One would take for granted that every child will go to school within it and get the opportunity to have what school provides. I mean, social mobility and things like that. Those opportunities and that for that life chances. But then some children go to school with some money attached to them. One could say, why them but not the others? The short answer is that they have money following them to the school so that they can stay in school. Without that, they wouldn't. So I was trying to capture this sort of family and household to see why they have that money, and if they go through the school that they choose to go, that this money help them to stay in school, and in fact help them to have access to higher education. So I started with 16 children. I mean, this project was funded by Katie Bond. Katie Bond is police commissioner in Sussex Police Commissioner. And my tagline was, everything is possible if you try, on one hand, but also we need to just help children who we know, if we don't catch them, young, that they will fall through the cracks of building a career out of criminality. And they will be languishing in the prison, where we might have benefited from that. We may be paying for them to stay in prison. They could have been working and paying for taxes if we tried. So that was my motivation. So with these 16 children, working with them, the first time around the table, asking them, who are you? Basically, I was trying to find who they were. They were sleeping, apart from one. All of them were dozing off. And I asked, why are you sleeping? What was going around the table was, well, I was playing games, till 4, and I have to get up at 6 and come to school. Here, I was looking at the keywords. I have to go to school. Money has been put aside for them to go to school and finish the basic education. Yet, the language and the key word that I had around the table, I have to, meaning them that they are pushing. They have been pushed to go to school. Anyways,
it's not an easy task, is it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. But then, I later discovered that grandparents, great-grandparents, and parents having themselves had the opportunity. They have never worked, many of them, that they have benefit, which is good, because this country has got this huge opportunity for people who are not working but who would need help. So they've been on it, intergenerationally. Now, how can we break that? It's what I was trying to find out anyway. So I shown them a video of people who had seen, several adversities but who thrived. One of which was someone was who was doubly amputee, but he thrived. He was climbing trees, irrespective of this adversity. And then went around asking them, what do you want to do? Of course, I don't want to work. Great grandma didn't work, grandma didn't work. Therefore, I'm just going to do a benefit.
Well, let me tell you, because you and I have spoken, and one way or another, is our joint venture has not progressed very much, except that because of you, I now have 2 students who come in 1 day a week. One is dyslexic, and the other has to spend a lot of time looking after his little brother because his mother goes out to work. And they are 2 crackers, and they are determined to succeed. And they are sort of the same sort of disadvantages, if you like, that you approach. So we are getting going, and hopefully we can improve that. We're getting I forget what the name of the college is in Brighton that is helping us, but we are trying to expand that program as we get bigger. So between us, we are making a little bit of well, you're helping us make a bit of an inroad.
Thank you. Yeah, well, so I'm so passionate about the opportunity. So, all these children, I mean, about 7 out of the 16 who wanted to play games. Later on, I found that through the workshop, that they are keen on developing something, through the computer. They realize that even as you're playing games, you have a passion of developing something. You're not just playing games just like that. So I took them to Sussex University to find out what they can get, even playing games. Because they discovered that they can be, they can learn artificial intelligence. And normally they wouldn't come to school at all, but at the end of the program, they were coming to school. They have gone, over and above. And when I went back in 6 months' time to discover what happened, they were working. They were doing after school work. And these were the 10 children. Those with animals, passion were, walking dogs and being paid for that. You know how, this the cycle has been broken. They are now ready to work. They are now ready to go to higher education. So what I'm saying is that we need to just help them, cut them very young. Yes, academic, fair enough, but not every child is built academically. Others have different aptitude, of studies. Some academic, some art, and all those. We need to help children to discover who they are, and then carry on with it. Go to university if they will, if they want to do so, or maybe go into apprenticeship. I mean, this T level is a good concept, a good education reforms. That is there for everybody. But if you're only looking and supporting those who have, academic aptitude for academic subject rather, we are disadvantaged all the others who go to school every day. Right. And they won't like school, they will drop out maybe.
Now, one of the things that nobody ever believes is that people don't keep a pencil and paper beside them while they're watching television. Not very much the radio anymore either. So explain carefully and precisely how people, the average person watching this, can help you and your program.
Which one? There's several.
Well, the one that we just talked about here for the youngsters who aren't advancing academically, as you say.
Right. So that's the word, advancing academically. So I believe that everyone has got challenge inside them. But it's talent that we as adults and teachers and parents need to try to find, discover and help and support these children. So if you're a parent or if you're a teacher, and if you, yes, academic, that's why we are there, because our system support those who are highly academic, I would say. based on evidence. But there are others who can do well. I mean, if Andy Warhol and all those designers were, neglected, we wouldn't have been mentioning their names. We wouldn't be having this, beautiful art that goes into market for 2-3 million. We know that, but then we just not pay attention to them. We need to pay attention to children and what they bring into the education system. Some will bring academic, fair enough. It's good for the league table and it's good for science and all the rest of it. But I think that skills matters. So I would, advise parents and teachers to really help them and, make sure that all the other non-academic activity skills matter and not stigmatize children who haven't got aptitude for academic. We do that, we destroy them. For some, they will come out of it. For others, you kill their interest in school for life.
Right. Now, this is Councillor Janet Barr. Remember the name, Janet Barr. Pretty well known in her area, but there are lots of people that watch these sort of programs that haven't a clue who we are. And although they would be very willing to support these sort of programs, don't know they exist. So, Janet, how do people contact you to find out about your various educational programs? And I say educational because that is the key, the theme of Janet's activities is education.
Well, if one wants to contact me, my email address is janetbarr, BAAH, @yahoo.com. And if you want to give me a call to discuss anything that you want to discuss, I may have time. If you ring and I haven't got the time, I will ring you back. And my number is 07709968337.
Repeat that.
07709968337.
Right. Now, as we progress, so we'll be able to put that up on the screen for you. We can't this morning, but Janet will be a frequent visitor because, like everybody else, when she passes, if she's got a message to pass, she'll just barrel in and say, "I'm here, Pete, shove over," which I will always do for a very pretty lady, but particularly for Janet, who really does do an enormous amount of work. While you've heard me rail and rant against politicians who are useless, this one ain't. I tell you, she is a powerful force, and you pay attention. Pay attention, I'm telling
Thank you.
Morning, chaps. Welcome to Lewis. Oh, they're not paying too much attention. Welcome to Lewis. Are you new to Lewis? We're interrupting that conversation. We mustn't do that then.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see people who are coming in and enjoying the town.
How are you?
I'm fine. You know me is never give up, never surrender. Although I must say that I do feel for some of the older people because I had a bad cold a couple of times and it got to me a wee bit. And my Parkinson's kicked in a little bit. But then what I do is I say, I'll be damned if it's going to get me down, and off I go again.
That's the attitude. That is the attitude that I want. Nothing can stop you.
Well, we barrel on, and I see our colleague Stephen Catlin from time to time, and Stephen keeps me up to date with what you're doing and he's doing, and there are some good things going on, just the same as I'm very critical of some parts of the administration. So I really like to support the good. And any of your colleagues who want to pop by, we're now here each morning in this bar from 9:30 till 11:30. And it's a come and give and take. And sometimes you've got competition from the back, and sometimes there'll be all sorts of people vying for a seat. But it's kicked off to not a bad start this morning. Once people sort of got used to their hair. We're delighted to see you, Janet, and anytime you're very welcome back.
Thank you so much. Before I go, then, before I leave you, I'd like people to know that on the 21st of this month, the town council is having the town meeting. So we want to invite people to come in. to share their views of what they think about the town. So people can book and send their questions in advance through the town council email address or website. If you go there, you can just post your question there and we can pick it up. But we need many of you to attend so that we can hear what your concerns are and we can, up our games basically.
Is that 21st of April?
21st of April.
All right, not very far away, so make a note of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what is the 21st? It's is it Thursday or Friday?
It's a Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Now you make a note of that. Scrub your diaries clean. What time of day?
7:30.
7:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
See, if I didn't hear it, you didn't hear it. 7:30 on the 21st, which is Thursday, and as many of you as possible can get out. Now, we scrabble for all sorts of things. We will march for food banks. We'll march for Ukraine. We'll march all sorts of things and totally ignore our own backyard. So it's about time that you actually got off your fat backsides and marched down to the town hall and got involved in these meetings. You hear? That's another broken nose when I walk out of the high street.
On that note, I'll leave you in peace.
Janet, lovely to see you, and thank you, and thank you for because the alerts for these town meetings, I think, are important that we make.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay,
See you
see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, Councillor Janet Barr, and we have 3 levels of council in this town. We have the county council, which looks after the entire East Sussex county. We have the district council, which looks after about 100,000 people in the district. And then we have the town council, which looks after about 17 or 18,000 people actually in the town itself. So we're delighted that we're able to get them involved. And I hope that this atmosphere, where there's a nice hubbub of people enjoying either a drink or a chat or whatever. I did lean across chaps to say welcome to Lewis and how were you, but you didn't hear me. Are you new to Lewis?
No, we just got out somewhere.
Oh, I see. And the first drink?
Yeah.
Good men. Right, there we go. It's down to the last 5 minutes. Let me just remind you of what's happening in the world. The Ukrainians are about to defend the Lugansk area. And I may say I've worked and lived in the Lugansk area, so I know something about it. The royal family are about to forgive Harry and Meghan, at least for the Jubilee celebrations. We have to worry about the little green men because the experts say if we shout too loud, they'll know we're here and they will invade. So a whole plethora of things this morning, and not least of which is our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, is about to march into Westminster to take on yet again the MPs in a barrage of questions about his birthday cake and his ice cream and his champagne at Christmas time, when he allegedly, well, in fact, admittedly, broke the rules of lockdown. He broke the law. And how much should he be held for account? Lots of differing views on this. So what he says, it should be of interest later on in the day. We're not a mainstream broadcaster. We won't be bringing you that. What we say is be alert to the things that are happening and hopefully see what is said, make up your mind, and then if you're marching past the White Hart, dive in and give us your opinion. I'm ready for it. And I need to look at the time because it's probably time now for us to, let's see. Oh, it's 11:22. Well, we've still got 8 minutes left. Goodness gracious me, we can't cut things short, can we? But my mouth is beginning to dry out. So let's just take a look at well, my favorite break, if you like, because this is a beautiful part of Lewis. Okay. Well, there we are. Here we are. We're back and able to say the cheerio in a structured sort of way. Mirrored on television. It's the television for Lewis emanating out of East Sussex, out of the White Hart Hotel, and out of the bar, which was made famous by Tom Paine, espousing the rights of man, the rights that the ordinary citizen should have, as opposed to those held by those in power, and which in many ways developed and furthered our democracy to what we know it as today. And he was the man who actually coined the phrase, the House of Commons. He once passed it with one of his elite friends, if you like, and said there should be there a place where every man is able to be representative, and it should be called the House of Commons, and indeed, as it is today, known as the House of Commons. And he was not a son of Lewis, but he spent 7 years here and was married here as a revenuer, if you like, a customs man, at a time when this part of the world was overrun by smugglers. They were the law. The Hawkhurst Gang, as they were known, that roamed up and down and across Sussex, took on the British Army at Robertsbridge and beat them. So you can tell the sort of power that they had and the sort of thing that Tom Paine, with great courage, had to take on to try hard to keep some semblance of taxes coming in from imports and exports. And of course, the thing is that most people don't have much sympathy for a tax on imports and exports. They have to pay for something. So the old Tom was doing that. And also for those people who don't know Lewis, this is the site of the Battle of Lewis in 1226, where Simon de Montfort, representing the barons, defeated King Henry III and got what, to all intents and purposes, I suppose, was a renewal of the Magna Carta sign, because nobody was paying much attention to the first one. In fact, the movie Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, the latest one to be made, demonstrates that King John made promises to the barons and then reneged, and nobody could do much about it. Well, this time they didn't renege, or he did renege. Henry III reneged and got his bottom slapped by the barons by being defeated. Simon de Montfort was actually killed 3 or 4 years later in another battle, but not before the nub of a parliament was started in Westminster. And happy to say that parliament exists to this day on exactly the place that it started in Westminster, and for the reason that it was started. Not a parliament as we would have recognized it, but it has developed into the mother of parliaments, a mature parliament, and one that we really are very lucky to have, even if it does from time to time appear to be a parliament without form or shape, and one that does more shouting than action. But then, what the heck? There we go, 11:28. There we go. And we are, we started the recording there. 11:28. So time for us to go. And thank you for being with us on this first morning. It's been rough and it's been ready. But at least, like the Battle of Lewis and the start of democracy, it is a start. And we thank very much Sally and Cliff Ayres at the White Hart Hotel for entertaining us, allowing us to broadcast from here. And we hope that this will grow into one of the great forums in Lewes, where it adds to the legend that this is the home of democracy, the home of democratic thinking. A great couple. In fact, Cliff's courage in handing out the stirrup cup on Boxing Day is beyond recognition. He strides out amongst the protesters, glass held high in the air to hand to the riders. Doesn't matter whether you approve of hunting or not, that's beside the point. It takes great courage. They're a great couple, and we hope that we can do this justice. So here we are. Here we are, Mirador Television, and we will be back with you tomorrow, 8:30 our news hour, and then 9:30. We've had a good selection of guests this morning. I'm a bit surprised we had as many as we did, and we've also had nice activity backwards and forwards to show that the town is alive and going and kicking, and this hotel particularly. Toodle pip.